Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual. I'm Utsav Parekh and I'll take you through the top 50 stories of the day. Let's begin. Russia launched a new wave of air attacks against Ukraine's capital, Kiev, using drones and cruise missiles. This was the 15th wave of air attacks against Kiev this month and the second overnight attack in a row. The attack follows the largest drone barrage launched on Ukraine's capital as the city celebrated Kiev Day on Sunday. Meanwhile, Kiev's military administration said that its air defenses shot down at least 40 targets. People in Kiev rushed to take shelter as explosions were heard on Monday morning. Kiev residents took shelter in metro stations. Kiev's mayor said that emergency services had been dispatched. He also urged residents to stay indoors. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has put forward a bill that would put additional sanctions on Iran for 50 years. The draft includes a complete ban on trade, investments, and transferring technologies. The bill also aims to stop Iranian goods from transiting through Ukraine or using its airspace. Kiev and its allies have accused Iran of supplying Russia with arms being used to attack Ukraine. The Russian ambassador to the UK has said that it is an idealistic mistake to think that Ukraine can win the war against Russia. In an interview, Andrei Kelin said that Russia had enormous resources and is yet to act very seriously. Kelin has warned that Western supply of weapons to Ukraine has risked escalating the conflict. He added that the length of the war depends on the escalations by NATO. Meanwhile, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said that the United States allowing Ukraine to acquire F-16 fighter jets is an unacceptable escalation. F-16 fighter jets are sophisticated jets that Ukraine has long been asking for. Lavrov added that the West is without a doubt playing with fire. Recep Tayyip Erdogan has claimed victory in Turkey's presidential election. He won over 52% of the vote in the runoff election. This was seen as the toughest political challenge for Erdogan. Thousands of Erdogan supporters gathered outside his house to celebrate his victory. Erdogan's political challenger, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, has called it the most unfair election in years. However, he did not dispute the outcome. North Korea has notified Japan of a plan to launch what it calls a satellite between May 31st and June 11th. This is according to the Japanese Coast Guard. This has raised concerns of the launch of a ballistic missile. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has ordered officials to gather more intelligence. Kishida has called for vigilance. Japan is closely monitoring the situation with its allies, including the United States and South Korea. Japan has also said that it's preparing to destroy any North Korean missiles that threaten its territory. Japan's chief cabinet secretary has said that North Korea launching a ballistic missile purporting to be a satellite is a serious provocation to the country's security. Preparations are underway to deploy missile defense units in Okinawa in Japan. Oman's Sultan Haitham bin Tariq Al Said met Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi in Tehran. He arrived for a two-day visit. The visit focuses on diplomatic and security issues. It comes days after Muscat mediated a prisoner swap between Iran and Belgium. Thousands of protesters took to the streets of Tel Aviv in Israel. They were protesting against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's proposed judicial overhaul plan. Demonstrations against the overhaul have taken place every week for the last 5 months. The overhaul would give politicians greater sway over electing judges. It would also limit the Israeli Supreme Court's power to strike down legislation. Thousands of people and opposition party leaders participated in an anti-government protest in Serbia's capital, Belgrade. The demonstrators blamed Serbian authorities for 2 mass shootings that killed 18 people earlier in May. Protesters demanded the resignation of President Alexander Vučić. They also demanded more freedom for the media. This was the fourth major protest against the government since the shootings. Meanwhile, Serbia's ruling party has accused the opposition of staging the protests for political gain. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has arrived in Brazil. He will attend a meeting of the Union of South American Nations. The regional summit has been organized by Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Other countries expected to attend the meeting include Bolivia, Chile, and Colombia, among others. Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has passed an anti-homosexuality law. The law is one of the strictest anti-LGBTQ+ laws in the world. Same-sex relations were already illegal in Uganda, as they are in over 30 African countries. However, the new law goes a step further. It contains some of the harshest anti-LGBTQ+ measures, including the death penalty. In conflict-ridden Sudan, the country's armed forces have issued a statement. They've expressed their willingness to extend the temporary ceasefire agreement. The rival Rapid Support Forces paramilitary group has also expressed their desire to do the same. The two warring factions in the country had signed a truce deal that promised a 7-day ceasefire. However, the fighting continued despite the armistice. So far, more than 800 civilians have died since fighting broke out in Sudan on April 15th. A tourist boat capsized on Lake Maggiore in northern Italy. 4 people have been killed. People were celebrating a birthday before the boat was hit by a violent storm. 19 survivors swam to shore after the boat capsized. Water in the main canal of Italy's Venice has turned fluorescent green. This has happened near the Rialto Bridge. The Regional Environmental Protection Agency has received samples of the water. The agency is working to identify the substance that may have caused the water's color to change. Venice authorities have called for an emergency meeting to launch an investigation. Wildfires continue to burn in Canada's Nova Scotia province. Authorities in the city of Halifax have declared a state of local emergency. It will be in effect for 7 days. Evacuation orders have been issued. Wildfires have also triggered power outages in the affected regions. The Chinese city of Shanghai has recorded its hottest day in the month of May in 100 years. The temperatures rose to above 36 degrees Celsius, breaking a 100-year record for May. Experts say that global warming is exacerbating adverse weather. Many countries in Asia are experiencing heat waves with temperatures hitting record highs. A new study has found that a majority of beaches in the US state of California will vanish by the end of this century. The study is based on satellite data of California's coast collected over the past 2 decades. It has been estimated that between 25 to 70% of California's shoreline will be washed away by the year 2100. To prevent this, the California Coastal Commission has started encouraging local authorities to build seawalls. A new research by the European Central Bank has said that climate change will speed up global inflation. It says that climate change will increase inflation by 1 percentage point every year. This will happen amid the rising cost of food. Analysts say that climate change inflation will be around 1.18% by 2035. According to reports, troubled Indian airline GoAir plans to raise salaries for its pilots. Pay for flight captains will be increased by 1 lakh rupees or about $1,200 per month. Meanwhile, the salary for first officers will be hiked by 50,000 rupees or $600 per month. This comes as part of the airline's retention strategy. Earlier this month, the company had filed for bankruptcy. According to reports, financial firm JP Morgan is set to lay off about 500 employees this week. The company will cut positions across its various departments. This will include the consumer, commercial banking, asset and wealth management units. Separately, the company has opened more than 13,000 jobs at the bank. Reports suggest that UK-based luxury car maker Rolls-Royce could cut thousands of jobs. The company is considering laying off about 3,000 non-manufacturing staff globally. The reports further say that its headquarters in Derby is likely to be hit hardest by the cuts. This is because most of its back-office operations are based in the city. American pharmacy chain Walgreens Boots Alliance will cut its corporate staff by about 10%. This will reportedly account for nearly 500 jobs at the company. Reports say that the cuts will not affect positions in its stores, fulfillment outlets, or call centers. Walgreens is one of the largest pharmacies in the US. The US-based EdTech Firm Guild is laying off over 170 employees. This will account for about 12% of its workforce. The company CEO, Rachel Romer, has said that the laid-off employees will receive 12 weeks' worth of severance pay. The EdTech platform attained unicorn status in 2019. This refers to a privately held startup company with a valuation of over $1 billion. PricewaterhouseCoopers Australia has placed 9 of its partners on leave. The auditing giant has also said that the chair of its governance board and its risk committee will step down. Additionally, PwC would appoint 2 independent directors to its governance board. They'll help publish a review of the firm's work culture. PwC's Australian unit has been accused of leaking information about the country's new tax measures to corporate clients. Cryptocurrency exchange Binance is creating a new platform for residents in Japan. This is to fully comply with local crypto regulations. Current users will be able to migrate to the new Japanese platform through a new identity verification process. The option to migrate will be available after August 1st. Services on the existing platform will be discontinued in Japan on November 30th. Netflix begins its crackdown on password sharing in the US and the UK. The company says that one account can be used only by one household. This means that only people within the same location will be able to use the same account. The streaming giant will reportedly use IP addresses of devices to identify people not belonging to a particular household. China's cyberspace regulator says that it has deleted 1.4 million social media posts. This is over social media apps like WeChat and Weibo. It's reportedly targeting accounts that fall under the category of quote-unquote self-media. Self-media refers to accounts that publish news and information but are not state-approved in China. Canadian privacy watchdogs are launching a joint investigation into ChatGPT creator OpenAI. The federal privacy regulator, along with its counterparts in Quebec, British Columbia, and Alberta, will investigate the company. They're probing to see if the company had obtained consent for the collection and use of personal information of ChatGPT users in Canada. Coming to sports, batter Yashasvi Jaiswal has been included in India's squad for the upcoming World Test Championship final. The 5-day test match between India and Australia will be played at the Oval on the 7th of June. Jaiswal's inclusion comes after his stellar performance at this year's IPL. He'll be replacing Ruturaj Gaikwad as a backup opener. Meanwhile, Australia announced its 15-member squad for the World Test Championship. Pacer Josh Hazlewood has been included in the team after being ruled fit to play. Hazlewood had suffered a minor injury on his leg in April. He was being ruled as doubtful for the WTC final. However, scans have revealed that there was no damage to the bowler's ligaments. In badminton, India's HS Pranoy bagged his maiden Malaysia Masters title. Pranoy beat China's Hong Weng 21-19, 21-18 in an emphatic win. Pranoy and Weng went toe-to-toe as both shuttlers battled to gain the upper hand. However, the Indian shuttler dug deep and closed out the match to win the championship. Coming to football, AC Milan beat Juventus 1-0 to secure a top 4 finish in the Serie A on Sunday. Olivier Giroud scored the winning goal for Milan in the 40th minute. With the win, Milan have qualified for next season's UEFA Champions League. FC Bayern Munich clinched their 11th straight Bundesliga title with a 2-1 win at Cologne. Kingsley Coman scored for Bayern in the 8th minute. Cologne made a comeback with a late goal on a penalty in the 81st minute, but Jamal Musiala's 89th minute goal secured the win and the trophy for Bayern. Paris Saint-Germain clinched the Ligue 1 title for the record 11th time. PSG drew 1-1 at Strasbourg in Sunday's match. Lionel Messi secured the lead for PSG in the 59th minute. Strasbourg took 17 shots on goal as they managed to sneak in an equalizer. Meanwhile, Messi set a new record. This was his 496th career goal in Europe. He broke Cristiano Ronaldo's goal-scoring record among the top 5 European leagues. In Formula One, Max Verstappen led a soggy Monaco Grand Prix from start to finish on Sunday. He earned Red Bull a 6th win this season. With the win at Monaco, he has stretched his Formula One lead to 39 points. His Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez sits second in the rankings. Meanwhile, Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso finished second in Monaco. Esteban Ocon completed the podium, finishing third for Alpine. In basketball, Boston Celtics beat Miami Heat in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Celtics won 104-103 in a thrilling match to take the playoff series to the wire in Game 7. Jason Tatum scored 31 points to secure the win for Celtics. Boston and Miami will play the decider on Tuesday. The winner will face Denver Nuggets in the NBA Finals. In athletics, India had a gold rush at the Coop Falls Gala in Germany. Jyoti Yaraji ran her career's second-best 100-meter hurdles to win gold. The 23-year-old clocked 12.84 seconds to win her first international race of the season. Meanwhile, Amlan Borgohain won the men's 200-meter race. He clocked 20.66 seconds to win the gold. India's Selva Prabhu bagged gold in the men's triple jump event at the Venizelia Chania meet in Greece. 18-year-old Prabhu topped the podium with a leap of 16.78 meters. He recorded a personal best and set a new national record in the junior category. Actor Keanu Reeves reunited with band Dogstar as its bassist after 20 years. The band performed at the Bottle Rock Napa Valley Music Festival in California on the 27th of May. Reeves said that he missed doing shows together. Dogstar was formed in 1991. They released 2 studio albums and an EP before breaking up in 2002. Indian streaming platform Geo Cinemas has signed a multi-year partnership with entertainment company NBC Universal. Series like Young Rock, Downton Abbey, and The Office are some of the shows that will be available on the platform. The shows will start streaming from next month. Geo Cinemas recently acquired streaming rights for HBO, Max Original, and Warner Brothers content in India. Streaming platform Amazon Prime Video is expanding its slate of Korean content. The latest show to be signed on by Prime Video is the vampire rom-com titled Heartbeat. The 16-episode series will be available in over 240 countries from the 26th of June. The Entertainment Community Fund has provided financial assistance to the non-writers affected by the Writers Guild of America strike. The charitable organization reached out to over 400 industry workers. Screenwriters Shonda Rhimes and Greg Berlanti and director J.J. Abrams were among those who donated to the fund. So far, the donations have exceeded $2.2 million. The WGA has asked its Tony-nominated members not to attend the ceremony. The WGA has given the nominees two alternatives. They could either send in a pre-taped acceptance speech in case they win, or they could ask a non-member to accept the award on their behalf. The Tony Awards will take place on the 11th of June in New York. BTS singer Jimin has created the Guinness World Record for fastest solo K-pop artist to reach 1 billion streams on Spotify. Jimin clocked in this number in 393 days of his debut on the music streaming platform. With this, he beat fellow BTS member Jungkook, who had taken 409 days to reach this number. Singer Lana Del Rey returned to the stage after a hiatus of over 3 years. She performed at the Meta Music Festival 2023 in Brazil's Rio de Janeiro on the 27th of May. It marked Del Rey's first full concert since November 2019. Her 16-song live set included songs from her latest studio album called Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard? The album debuted on number 3 at the Billboard 200 Albums chart in March this year. Singer Taylor Swift and rapper Ice Spice have released the music video for their song Karma. The video release came on the heels of their live debut of the remix. This was during Swift's Eras music tour in New Jersey in the US. The song is part of Swift's album Midnights. Singer Celine Dion has cancelled all tour dates for the next 2 years due to her battle with a rare neurological disorder. She started the Courage World Tour in 2019, but has had to cancel the rest of the schedule due to the medical condition. Dion was diagnosed with stiff person syndrome in 2022. The disease causes spasms and stiff muscles. Police in Berlin have opened investigations against British singer Roger Waters over anti-Semitism charges. The former Pink Floyd bassist allegedly wore a Nazi-style uniform during a concert in Berlin on the 17th of May. The outfit had what looked like a Nazi emblem. Waters defended himself, saying that the uniform was a statement in opposition to fascism, injustice and bigotry. That's a wrap for this episode of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to First Post.
Email exchanges from inside the BBC, they talk about the risk of violating Indian laws. It's easier to rake up the freedom of speech debate, but does it give anyone a free pass to knowingly violate the law? America supports India because it needs India's support in return. And India is working with the US because it suits India's interests. This is how geopolitics works. Last night, he diffused a crisis with his defense minister. But today, Netanyahu was confronted with a new problem. His cabinet seems to have rebelled against him. The UK is looking at the Indian subcontinent to fill its coffers. That India seems to be negotiating from a position of power, like a partner and not a former colony.